Hey guys, and welcome to Quality Shot, the Men's Australian Open 2022 preview. Rafael Nadal's made it. Got through Berrettini, Medvedev through Tsitsipas. They set up a replay of the 2019 US Open final, and this will be, in my eyes, a cracker. It's the final that I wanted after I saw Djokovic go out. Well, not play in this tournament. It's also the one that I wanted after seeing Zverev go out. I thought it might be Zverev versus Medvedev in the final. I think that's the one that people initially wanted. If you were a dreamer or a Rafa fan like myself, then you were hoping Nadal makes the final. But knowing that Medvedev was the favourite, of course, for the whole tournament, we've been very lucky to get this final, honestly. And it shows that the dwindling of the big three isn't quite dwindling as much as maybe the next gen stars would like. Nadal managing to get through to the final here. And Medvedev, I think, has another opportunity to stop someone making their 21st Grand Slam win. Nadal, Djokovic, and Federer, we all know they're on 20 slams. The race for the Grand Slam title, the race for Grand Slams is still on. It's still going on. I think Federer, it's not 100%, but I think most likely he's not going to add to that 20 mark of his. For Nadal and Djokovic is possible, and Nadal has a huge opportunity here. One more win away from it, and if he does, he will surpass Djokovic and Federer and really push forward to 21, and it'll be the first time he'll be in front of Federer, actually, as well, and, in front of all the other tennis players ever in terms of total Grand Slam wins. So that will be historic. For Medvedev, he has his own history to create as well. He would become the first player in the Open era to win a Grand Slam straight after winning his first career Grand Slam. So when I say career Grand Slam, I don't mean the career as in winning every title in every Grand Slam. What I mean is that he's won his maiden Grand Slam, which was the US Open 2021. And he would be the first player in the Open era to back that up in the next Grand Slam by winning it. No one's managed to do that consecutively. For example, when Nadal won the French Open for the first time, he never managed to win Wimbledon straight after. Same with Federer. Same with Djokovic. They won their slam. They might have won a slam 2 slams later, but never the next slam. And that, I think, is a very interesting piece of history and something that Medvedev will be looking at. I'm pretty sure, and I could be wrong, that he'll also have a very good... I'd imagine he's got... And he will close the gap on the world number one status as well. Potentially grabbing it. I know he made the final last year, so he will gain some points. It won't be like a huge amount, though. Djokovic will drop a lot of points considering he won this tournament, though. So I don't know how that's all going to work itself out, but I'm assuming Medvedev will have a chance anyway to become world number one. But again, not 100% sure on that one. In terms of other things to take into account, this is a meeting, I think, where ordinarily, and you look at the head-to-head, Nadal has a 3-1 advantage there. But if you look at the most recent meeting between the two, which was indoors, right? It was indoors at the Nitto ATP Finals at the O2 in London. Nadal ended up taking the first set there. Medvedev, though, in the end, winning in 3. And Nadal had an opportunity to beat Medvedev in straight sets, but lost the tiebreak in the second set. Before that, they played as well at the same event. Nadal won that one in 3 sets. And then, of course, we have that famous US Open final, which went to 5 sets, Nadal managing to eke through that. He was actually 2 sets to love up there. Nadal conceded the next 2 sets after, managed to get it done in the final set 6-4. So a very interesting, very, very interesting tie on our hands. Very much looking forward to it. Nadal has been in some scintillating form, especially the first couple of sets against Berrettini, the first 2 sets against Shapovalov. I think the best tennis I've seen from him since the US Open 2019 was those first 2 sets against Berrettini in terms of his level. And when I say since then, I mean on hard courts. Obviously on clay, it's a different matter, I think, altogether. For Medvedev, he hasn't necessarily played his best tennis, but against Tsitsipas, he definitely rose to the occasion. There were some phenomenal points there. Yes, he had his ups and downs and ended up winning in 4 sets. And Tsitsipas, I think, takes and, handles some of those pressure points better, and you never know. But Medvedev served really well for the most part, I thought. Yes, at times the double faults, biting him in the backside, but that was more to do with the mental side. He got really riled up about the coaching situation, or the fact that it seemed like Tsitsipas' dad was coaching him. I can actually confirm that on that front. Obviously, we don't know what's going on in terms of the whole dialogue between the father and son. It might not be coaching at all. What we do know is, though, however, there was a confirmed spot of coaching where they had a Greek umpire in the stairwell, basically right below where Tsitsipas' father was, and she could hear exactly what Tsitsipas' father was saying, and obviously understood it. And he was given a code violation, Tsitsipas and the team, for on-court coaching, but only one instance it happened. So they were on top of it, and it was obviously very dramatic. Medvedev went absolutely ballistic in that semi-final to the umpire, apologized after, but very, very messy. And of course, that's a separate saga in of itself. For Rafa, though, he has a great opportunity here to make history, as I said. The courts, though, definitely favor the Russian. They're quick courts here. It suits his serve. His return, he stands very far back, and that's obviously, again, an advantage. Yes, it means that you can serve volley. If you're an effective serve volleyer, then you can definitely have success against Medvedev. But in saying that, it won't be easy for Rafael Nadal. It really, really won't. It'll be tough. He'll have to battle hard and come through some adversity, no doubt. Medvedev is a champion. He's coming off a lot of wins, and of course will take a lot of confidence from winning that US Open title. Nadal, he actually didn't even know if he would be playing in this tournament. He was considering retirement, he said, after the presser for the semi-final, and just said he's so happy to be finally competing at the level that he wants and to be playing at the sport he loves, and very happy to be in the final and taking it one step at a time. So interestingly, that he said he was thinking of potentially retiring because the injuries were just hampering him so much, and he had 8 months out. His serve looks a lot better. The serve out wide on the ad side to the forehand of the righty looks really good. It's flatter. Berrettini, for example, really struggled to get a return back into court on that with that serve, and if he did, it was a block forehand return, so slice back, and Rafa then made sure that his 1+ shot was a forehand and managed to take in the points. For Medvedev, for him, his returning was very good against Tsitsipas for the most part. When he got the chances, he took them. It was quite clinical, I thought, at times. Tsitsipas did really well to come back. But the biggest thing for me is not necessarily a technical thing, even though his passing shots were phenomenal against Tsitsipas. His anticipation is amazing. Movement around the court on the hard courts is second to none. He moves extremely well, utilized the drop shot a couple of times, which I thought was a good tactic against Nadal. It's not a bad tactic if Nadal's very far back and he's been able to push him. But Medvedev has added layers to his game. The forehand on the line is becoming a threat. It's something that is a weapon at times, and he was actually hitting the forehand quicker in terms of velocity than Tsitsipas in the first set, I think it was, or so, against the Greek player. So that was a really impressive thing to behold. And the first couple of sets of that match were really, really high level. For Nadal, the biggest dynamic will obviously be the backhand to the forehand of Medvedev, you would imagine. So that cross-court dynamic and how can he hold up. Medvedev with the forehand does make mistakes. Nadal can drag him into mistakes on that side. Interesting to see how often Medvedev goes down the line with the backhand as well, because Medvedev's backhand on the line is very effective. Nadal with a forehand will try and whip that obviously into the backhand side of Medvedev. Medvedev isn't... I mean, you would expect Medvedev to struggle with that shot. I think he has in the past. But he doesn't mind hitting the rising ball, Medvedev, from what I've seen. He takes it on. And with him, it's not necessarily about power. It's about depth and consistency on the ground strokes. And he finds it incredibly well throughout every single match. And the biggest thing, actually, for me, that impresses me every time I see Medvedev is the fact that defensively he is so good. And when I say defensively so good, it doesn't mean necessarily he's getting everything back, which he does do. It's more the case that he gets everything back and with such great depth as well. That is what is impressive, and it's fantastic. It really, really is fantastic from Medvedev. Great to see and watch. And sometimes you just think, how has he got back into this rally? How has he managed to switch that around and then come back on the offensive? He's added more attacking, I think, options to his game as well on the forehand side, which is impressive. A couple of different looks on the forehand as well, kind of variation on the forehand, which is a bit more heavy on the topspin if he feels like he needs to hit that. Passing shots and anticipation, phenomenal. At the net, I mean, I think he's not particularly comfortable there. So if you can drag him into the net, it's not a bad option. Tsitsipas did that. And I think Nadal has a very good drop shot. Doesn't utilize it as much, or hasn't utilized it as much, I don't think, in this tournament as maybe we are used to. I'm sure he will look at that. And of course, he'll look at the slice serve out wide on the ad side, because that slice serve obviously goes out to Medvedev's backhand. But not just that, Medvedev stands so far back. It's an opportunity for Nadal to come into the net and then finish off the point, or at least get on the front foot straight away in the point. For Medvedev, it will be a case of serving really well, trying to force Nadal back on the second serve return position to stand further back where he's more in a defensive returning position rather than in, which curiosity against Medvedev. Nadal has been doing it in large periods and has had success. I feel like he needs to do the same thing against Medvedev. Don't back down. It's going to be a very intriguing final. I cannot wait. Of course, the in-to-out forehand from Nadal going into the forehand of Medvedev, it will probably be a tactic Nadal uses, mainly because I feel like the forehand, again, is a little bit more of a weapon for Medvedev, but it definitely breaks down more. I think we're going to see some absolutely gritty rallies, I think is the best way to say it. Gritty, grueling rallies, some very long ones at that. Medvedev will try and serve big to avoid having to, get into long rallies on his serve, which he did really well against Tsitsipas. I think he went 5 games in a row in the first set, where he just served so well and held to love, didn't lose a single point. Nadal will be hoping for a similar outcome on his serve. But Medvedev is such a fantastic return, and as is Nadal. So all I see is there being a lot of points played, a lot of returns made, and I would imagine some fantastic long points decided at the net, or with winners, or with unforced errors. But drama, and of course both have the opportunity to create history. So it's a very symbolic final. Nadal, will he have another opportunity to win another hard court, Grand Slam? Maybe, but he's fit, he's healthy. There's no Djokovic. Will he have a better opportunity to do it? I don't know. Medvedev, though, will try and stop it. I mean, he's, I think, the slight favourite. I think, especially if the roof is closed, I think the fact that the ball, after, yes, it might be slightly slower through the air as Medvedev hits it, but as soon as it crunches into that hard court surface, it just flies off the surface, lower bounce, quicker off the surface, and of course that is an advantage for Medvedev. Nadal handled it quite well against Berrettini today. Medvedev, it looks good. I mean, look, let's be honest, he looks good in indoor conditions. He hits so low over the net. He wants the ball to bounce lower. He doesn't like it rearing up that high anyways, because it doesn't suit his offensive game, especially when he's trying to defend as well and hit flat defensively. If the ball's just going to pop up, then it's an advantage for his opponent. For Nadal, he'll want it to be outdoors, but he did play well indoors today. I'm going to go, if I go with my heart, which is obviously a Rafa supporter, I'd go with Nadal. If I go with my head, I think it's going to be another 5-setter. I do. And I think it's another 50-50 for me. I'm going to go with Rafael Nadal in 5 sets. I'm not confident whatsoever, to be honest with you, but I think it's going to be a very interesting match. Medvedev has been so clutch in pressure points. Nadal has managed to kind of waste leads away in the third set. So if Nadal does play really well in the first 2 sets, he could potentially be 2 sets to love up, or at 1 set, or that third set. will he drop off again, as he has in a lot of matches where his level just seems to drop a little bit? It's more to do with the intensity, I think, that he really exerts in those first 2 sets. And he's getting older. Like, it's just natural when you play at that type of intensity. Then he manages to kind of come back into his own. He hopefully will be fully fit. He looked okay against Berrettini. Again, the level dropped a little bit. Berrettini's level rose a great deal. Medvedev at times as well can be a little bit sloppy mentally. I don't think there'll be any issue with coaching, etc. Nadal just really gets on with it. So, yeah, it's going to be very, very interesting to see how this one ends. I'm very much looking forward to it. Please remember to smash the like button and subscribe to the channel. Of course, we will be doing a live stream watch along for this as well on the Sunday. So do keep an eye out for that and do get involved. Thank you very much, guys. Stay safe and well, and I'll see you on the